Hello, Professor. We are group number 8, and the members of the group are Sonia Rio, Sheila Rojas, Andrea Rosero, Denis Angoquiza, and me, Ariana Ramirez. Our group is working with the concept development model, and our topic is responsibilities of citizenships. And now I will explain the first lesson plan, okay? Well, the lesson here is called citizenship and civic responsibilities, okay? And it's for third grade social studies. Well, the topic is what it means to be a citizen and what responsibilities citizens have in their communities, okay? Well, this lesson have clear objectives. The students will understand citizenships, identify rights and responsibilities, and recognize ways to show civic responsibility in their daily life, okay? Well, the lesson has 5 main parts, okay? The first part is, as you can see, warm-up. It's a warm-up discussion about what a citizen is, okay? The second is direct instruction about rights and responsibilities, okay? The third is a group activity where students create a poster, okay? The fourth is a video or a role play about good citizenship, okay? And the fifth, an independent worship and a reflection activity, okay? And now I will explain the first lesson plan, okay? Well, the lesson here is called citizenship and civic responsibilities, okay? And it's for third grade social studies. Well, the topic is what it means to be a citizen and what responsibilities citizens have in their communities, okay? Well, this lesson have clear objectives. The students will understand citizenships, identify rights and responsibilities, and recognize ways to show civic responsibility in their daily life, okay? Well, the lesson has 5 main parts, okay? The first part is, as you can see, warm-up. It's a warm-up discussion about what a citizen is, okay? The second is direct instruction about rights and responsibilities, okay? The third is a group activity where students create a poster, okay? The fourth is a video or a role play about good citizenship, okay? And the fifth, an independent worship and a reflection activity, okay? Now, let me explain how this lesson aligns with what we need, okay? First, it fits the Ecuadorian context, obviously, because citizenships and civic responsibility are part of our national curriculum, okay? And values like respect and solidarity are very important in Ecuadorian schools, okay? The second point is that it connects to the curricular threads, okay? It connects, for example, to the communication and cultural awareness through discussions of values, okay? And it connects to oral communication through group works, in this case, in class conversations, okay? And it also connects to reading and writing through the worships and the reflection, the activity of reflection, okay? The third point is that it addresses Bloom's taxonomy, okay? Students remember and understand the concepts like rights and responsibilities, and they apply their knowledge, what they learn, by creating posters, as I say before, okay? And they create and evaluate when they reflect on how they will practice civic responsibilities at home or at school, okay? And finally, Well, this lesson applies the concept developing model in 5 steps. Okay, first, students list examples of good citizens. Okay, second, they group them into rights and responsibilities. Third, they label each group. For they can regroup them into categories like home, school, and community. Okay, and 5, they synthesize their learning by writing a reflection. Okay, well, this lesson plan is well structured, aligns with the Ecuadorian curriculum, applies the concept development model correctly, and promotes critical thinking through different activities. Okay, and that is all for this lesson plan. Thank you.
Hello teacher, I'm Denis Aokisa and I'm gonna explain the lesson plan 2 called Citizen Roles and Responsibilities Around the World. The main objective of this lesson is to help students understand the roles and responsibilities of citizens in different countries. By the end of the lesson, students should be able to describe and compare how citizens participate in society around the world. The lesson starts with a vocabulary activity. Students learn important words such as citizen, responsibility, task, constitution, and voluntary. This helps them understand the topic before beginning the main activities. Next, students work with the Jigsaw cooperative learning strategy. They are divided into groups and each student researches a different region of the world. After that, students meet with classmates who studied the same region to compare information and discuss their findings. Then they return to their original groups and teach their classmates what they learned. At the end of the lesson, students work together to create a Venn diagram. They compare and contrast the roles and responsibilities of citizens in the United States with those in other countries. One advantage of this lesson is that it promotes active participation and teamwork. It also develops critical thinking because students analyze and compare information from different countries. One disadvantage is that some students may participate less during group work. Another disadvantage is that the lesson requires internet access and enough time for research activities. Overall, this lesson helps students understand citizenship through collaboration, research, and real-world examples. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Sonia Riofrio and today I'm going to explain about the lesson plan 3. The objective of lesson plan 3 is to close the learning cycle. Students present their code of conduct proposal, receive feedback, and reflect on their own learning process. The main advantage is that it develops communication and critical evaluation skills through peer feedback. Students learn to give and receive constructive opinions, which strengthens their civic reasoning. However, the disadvantages include time contrasting and the need for students to have complete their products beforehand. Also, some students may feel nervous about presenting in public, so a supportive environment is essential. Bloom taxonomy is clear integrate. In the presentation, students apply and analyze their proposal. During peer evaluation, they reach the evaluate level judging viability and relevance. In the final reflections, they create personal action plans reaching the highest level. In conclusion, Lesson Plan 3 transforms students into critical citizens who can evaluate, reflect, and act. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Sheila Rojas, and after analyzing the three lesson plans, our group selected Lesson Plan 1, Citizenship and Civic Responsibilities, as the best option for equaling students. First, this lesson has clear and achievable objectives. Students learn what citizenship means, identify rights and responsibilities, and reflect on how they can be responsible members of society. Compared with the lesson plan 2, which focuses on citizenship around the world, lesson plan 1 is more practical and easier to implement in Ecuadorian classrooms. Lesson plan 2 promotes teamwork and critical thinking, but it requires more time, internet access, and research skills. The lesson plan 3 is also interesting because students create and evaluate a code of conduct. However, it focuses mainly on presentation and reflection, so it works better as a final project than as a complete lesson. For these reasons, we believe lesson plan 1 is the strongest choice. It includes discussion, group work, individual practice, and reflection. In addition, it follows the concept development model because students identify examples of citizenship, classify them into categories, level concepts, regroup information, and finally, synthesis their learning through reflection. Finally, this lesson is closely connected to the Ecuadorian context because it promotes responsibility, citizenship, participation in the community, and respect for social responsibilities. This has important values for Ecuadorian students, both inside and outside the classroom. Thank you.
Hello, now I'm going to analyze the lesson plans using curricular threats, Bloom's taxonomy, and proposed improvements. Well, first, these lesson plans are connected to the Ecuadorian curricular thread called Coexistence and Responsible Citizenship. Here, students learn what it means to be a citizen, identify their rights and responsibilities, and also understand the importance of participating actively in their school and also in their community. These activities help students to reflect on how they can contribute to a more respectful and responsible society. According to Bloom's taxonomy, the lesson plan develop different cognitive skills. For example, students begin to remembering and understanding concepts as citizenship, rights, and also responsibilities. Then they apply this knowledge through discussions and reflections and real life examples. They also analyze similarities and differences in citizen responsibilities, evaluating ideas and proposals from their classmates, and creating ideas or products such as posters and codes of um conduct rights. This progression promotes both critical thinking and creativity to students. And for example, some of the Bloom's classification that we can uh, see is is about, for example, the level of remember, of understanding, of applying, for example, what do we say, practice responsible citizenship and at home and school. Also, one of the level that is important is to evaluate, uh, assessing classmates' proposals and ideas, and also creating the designs and codes of conduct. Well, and finally, to make students get motivated and engaged with this citizenship rules, it's important to apply different techniques. For example, like digital quizzes to increase student engagement. For example, providing selected resources and assigning specific roles within groups to encourage equal participation. Also, we can include detailed self-assessment and personal action plans to strengthen reflection and real-life application, like making role plays with all the students. And finally, it's important to know that we have to make like we are the actors of all the society, and to make the children have the curiosity and the the motivation to make uh, a better world.